welcome to the Cinema Dash. As always, I'm Gabbs.
And I'm DeGe.
And yes, it is finally that time of year. It's the end of 2016, but it's probably the beginning of 2017 when this actually comes out. So sorry. Yeah, so as per usual with the movie channels on YouTube and all across the internet, they have their top 10s of the year of whether they're the best, whether they're the worst. We have the best and only the best. The worst, I don't know. I think we made it pretty obvious which is the worst.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, 2016. What else can we say about it? It was a really weird year.
Had good movies, had bad movies.
Had good movies, had bad movies. A really weird year. A lot of things happened this year that we never thought would happen. A lot of people died. And it was just a really crazy year. Everybody was in a real funk for the entirety of the year. And here's to 2017 and stuff like that. But if it was one thing that you and me could rely on and to always like either bring a smile to our face or have us make us want to punch the movie theater screen, it was movies. And saw a lot of good movies this year, saw a lot of bad movies this year. But we both had a really good time doing the channel and stuff like that. And and to top it all off, our top 10 lists that we've made for everybody, and we're here to share them with you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. So
this is the top 10 movies of 2016. Throw glitter on it.
Throwing some glitter.
I have 10. You have 10. Well, you technically have 15 because you're an asshole. But
I have honorable mentions. I just got some honorable mentions. So
yeah,
I guess I'll get those out of the way.
Yeah.
Real quick. So my first honorable mention, the movie I liked the most out of my honorable mentions, Doctor Strange. Great origin story, superhero flick. Really liked it, but didn't like it enough to put it in my top 10. My second movie is Zootopia. Also love this flick. Definitely, I think the best animated movie of the year. Really like this movie. Really like the themes that it explored. You don't see much of that in a kids movie, and unfortunately, didn't like it enough to have it make my top 10. But hey, that's just my opinion, man. Don't crucify me for it. Number 13, Pixar's latest effort with Finding Dory. Finding Dory was a really good film. Liked it. The voice cast was on par as per usual with Pixar films. Animation's on par. I don't think one of Pixar's best movies, but it's definitely up there within like maybe their top 50. They made 15 movies? About more. I'd say it definitely breaks. It's around the 11th place, 12th place mark. Maybe a little higher. I don't know what the hell I'm saying, so I'm just gonna move on. Number 14, we have Star Trek Beyond. I like the Star Trek movies. A lot of Star Trek fans don't. I like them a lot, but because they're fun, they're entertaining. Really like them, And this one proved no different. Thought it was a pretty good flick. Saw it with my buddy Shane. Did a one-off on it. What else is there to say? It has my vote for the best scene of 2016. I think with that sabotage scene. So, big fan of that movie, and now it's on my honorable mentions list. And number 15, we have Moana. Moana, good movie. Not one of Walt Disney Animation's best, but they never cease to amaze me with one aspect of their movies. In this one, it was the tattoos and the water. Had a lot of great things in it. By way of story, it was pretty. It was just meh. You've seen it already, and you can move on from it. So now that we got that out of the way, let's start with our top 10 movies of the year. Gabbs, why don't you kick us off?
Okay. I'm gonna do a kicking motion. Yeah, I did it.
Alrighty.
So we're already on this great video. My top 10. Here we go. Number 10 of the top 10 is Finding Dory. Finding Dory was I think one of the better Pixar movies of the year. The original cast was back, which is always a good thing, and they were back and better than ever. Did I like this more than Finding Nemo? I think it was on par with it, if not a little bit better. Really? Which made me like it a lot. And the new characters were great. And yeah, overall, it was a good movie, and I suggested everyone. I suggest all the movies I have in my top 10. But this is like, if you want a good Pixar movie, this is a pretty fucking good one.
It's a fucking primo Pixar movie, eh? Yeah. All right, cool. And my number 10 spot goes to The Witch.
You cannot have two more different top 10s.
Yeah, really, you can have more different number 10 spots. Yeah. But my The Witch, one of the better horror movies I've seen this decade. Really, really, really adored this movie because of it was just different than anything we've really ever seen in the horror genre. Very slow paced, but still very terrifying. The cast was phenomenal. Cinematography was phenomenal. Music was phenomenal. Everything about this movie I adored. So yeah, one of the better horror movies I've seen this decade. Definitely do yourself a favor. It's on Amazon Prime. Check it out. You will love it. Oh, maybe you'll love it. I don't know. Not as much as I did. But
you have your own fucking opinion. Yeah. Hey, speaking of opinions, here's my opinion for the number 9 spot on my list. That goes to Zootopia, the one that came out this year that you thought that was gonna be the film of the year. It wasn't the film of the year to us, but you know what? It was pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yes, Judy Hopps being a cop bunny. What a great name for a bunny rabbit cop.
I totally agree.
Yes, animation superb. Characters were amazing. In the undertone of like the story and what it tried to get through to its audience was something I haven't really seen with an animated film like this. So props to them, props to Disney. Great flick. I watched it again and it was just as good as I saw it the first time.
Nice.
So there you go.
All right, so in my number 9 spot, we have Kubo and the Two Strings. Kubo and the Two Strings, I loved it. I thought it was great. Really, just the amount of effort that Leica puts into their movies is just phenomenal. And I recently watched a making of documentary about like Kubo and how they animated everything, and it's all stop motion and stuff like that. But just really the amount of work and detail and effort that goes into making a movie like this is outstanding. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It really captures the essence of Japanese folklore and ancient culture like that. The voice cast was phenomenal. One of the few times in which I really, really like listening to a kid actor. And it was something that I've noticed about 2016 is that we're getting a lot of that. With Stranger Things, you have phenomenal kid actors like that. Kubo, with that stuff too. So yeah, really wonderfully animated. Great voice cast. Really compelling story. And some really, really great characters, I think. Charlize Theron plays, I think, one of the most memorable characters of 2016 with her baboon. I thought she was great. So, yeah. And we're going to move it on over to Anthony with his...
Yes. Number 8. Number 8 comes to Moonlight. He goes to Moonlight. Moonlight, we reviewed it recently. If you haven't seen the movie, I would highly suggest you see it. It's an Oscar bait movie, but it's one of those Oscar bait movies that is actually good and not like it was alright.
Like like one of those like historical dramas.
It's not like The Danish Girl, where like half of everyone that saw it was just like, it was alright.
It's okay.
So this isn't that kind of movie. It's very good. Arguably one of the best, probably one of the better Oscar bait movies I've seen. I don't watch a lot of those, especially recently. But come last year, the Oscar bait movie of that year that won pretty much everything was Revenant, and that turned out to be one of my favorite movies of the year, ever probably. This one did not also surprise me. I didn't expect it to like it this much, and I did. Cast was great. Story was awesome. And overall, you know what? Just boyhood mixed with sprinkled with a little bit of Brokeback Mountain turned out to be a good movie. Moonlight.
I mean, yeah, Moonlight. All right. So for my number 8, we have Captain America 3: Civil War. This is a movie I never thought was gonna get made. To be quite honest, I never thought I was gonna be able to see Captain America, Iron Man, and all of them duke it out on the big screen. But hey, 2016 was a weird year, and this was one of the better parts of it. Everything about this movie was just awe-inspiring, really. It's really incredible to see that the superhero market has become so highly funded and so respected enough that we get these A-list actors playing these characters that are considered classics that have been with people since, the 30s, 40s. And finally, here we are today with incredible visual effects and stuff like that. And we see Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, all of them duking it out. And my God, it makes for some incredible results. The action sequences are phenomenal. This movie is extremely well directed. The cast is great and charming as always. Really, just this is really a superhero movie unlike any other, I think. And there's another superhero movie on this list that's unlike any other, and that's also Doctor Strange. But really, with this movie, it feels like the culmination of what everything was building up to up until that point. I remember we all thought the Avengers was going to be like the premier superhero movie, but in this one, it really just goes to show how far superhero movies have come.
You didn't even like Avengers.
I hated Avengers. But
You're the only person that doesn't like Avengers.
I am the only person that doesn't like Avengers. I did promise you that I would rewatch it, and I will eventually when I have the time. But anyway, for Civil War, I think this is the premier superhero movie to see. If you want your classic superheroes fighting each other and just being on screen together, thought it was great. So, on to you, Gabbs.
Yes. Number 7 goes to Manchester by the Sea. The movie that I can literally take any frame of and put it on my wall and be like, that's a good looking picture frame right there. Probably the nicest movie I've seen this year. Maybe one of the top best looking movies I've seen this year. Acting was phenomenal. Really another movie that also surprised me. My whole list is full of movies that surprised me. Mm-hmm. Especially with my number 2 being my most surprising of the year. Maybe even number 1. Maybe even number 1 was my most surprised movie of the year because I didn't expect I liked it that much. Mm-hmm. Yes, Casey Affleck was great. Probably the best performance of his career. Everyone else was great. The nephew I thought was really funny. Really have nothing bad to say about this movie. You should all check it out yourselves if you ever have the time to. It's worth the while. Yeah, if you like a real hit your heart, rips into 1,000 pieces kind of movie, also with a little comedy sprinkled in there, this is the movie for you. So DeGe, what did you make your number 7?
My number 7 goes to my boys, my men and women over at Lucasfilms with Star Wars Rogue One. Star Wars Rogue One is another movie that I never thought would happen. It's basically created off a passing line in the first one. And by golly, did this movie impress me. Gareth Edwards, director of Godzilla and Monsters, really came through with probably the most mature, most visually impressive, and most and like the best visual effects I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie, and I've ever seen in a movie thus far. Everything in this movie looks real to the T. Except for maybe a little bit of uncanny valley stuff with Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia, but for the most part they looked great. And Gareth Edwards directs the living shit out of this movie. The action is extremely well directed. You can see everything that's going on. No shaky cam bullshit. No Jason Bourne ripoffs. All very steady, still shots.
Jesus Christ!
It's
Jason Bourne.
But
that's in my top 5 memes of the year.
Is it?
That's a whole new video.
It's a whole new list. Yeah,
different channel.
But anyway, Gareth Edwards directs the living shit out of this movie. While I did not really enjoy the characters all that much, the action, the story, everything else, every other aspect about this movie, rather than the characters and the pacing was a little off. Everything else about this movie hit me, struck a chord with me. Loved almost every second of this movie, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I'm truly saying that is because I think that Gareth Edwards really tried with this movie, and I really think that he made a wonderful addition to the Star Wars saga, and I am really, really, really looking forward to seeing what he is doing next in his career, because he is quickly becoming one of my favorite directors. So, without further ado, on to you, Ant.
Yes, if you want the exact opposite, the polar opposite of Batman v Superman, then you're going to want to see Civil War. The third Captain America movie. I wouldn't even consider it a Captain America movie, but
it really wasn't a Captain America movie. It was more of an Avengers movie, don't you think?
It was more of a superhero movie. because not only did it have Captain America trying to find Bucky again, but also had Spider-Man, this kind of a Spider-Man introduction, a little bit of with also a Black Panther introduction. This movie somehow like jam-packed like almost 4 movies into one big explosive movie. It was great. I enjoyed the entire film. Not really anything bad about it, particularly bad from what I remember. We did a review of it, of course, as we did pretty much everything on this list. I think we did do everything on this list, a review of that. Yeah?
Absolutely.
I think you also put a movie on your honorable mentions that we didn't. Did you not put Hell and High Water on there?
I did not. I did see Hell or High Water though.
I mean, fuck. Shit. The Civil War was a great movie. You should go see it. Bye.
Yeah. You just leave. But now one more thing that I wanted to add about Civil War is Black Panther and Spider-Man didn't really feel shoehorned in.
Exactly.
They felt like completely natural to the story.
No one feels shoehorned in.
Exactly. It's completely natural to the story. But on to my number 6, which goes to Moonlight. Moonlight, I think personally, is a modern masterpiece. It's a modern classic, like instant classic. Honestly, I did not find one single flaw with this movie. I think this movie is near perfect, aside for a couple of transitional choices that I felt were a little lazy. But other than that, I think this movie is near perfect. Incredible cast. Naomi Harris gives probably the best performance of her career thus far. Mahershala Ali, quickly becoming one of my favorite African American actors, gives an incredible performance. And all 3 actors who play the main character, Chiron, all give exceptional performances as different iterations of the character. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. The use of color in this movie, again, genius. This movie is directed with such a sweeping confidence that really rivals the greats such as Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola. I really think that Barry Jenkins, whatever he does next, has the potential to make a perfect movie if he follows in the footsteps of this flick right here. Moonlight, really nothing bad about it. Everything about it was great. Writing, acting, cinematography, even the location setting. Everything had a purpose in this movie, and boy, did Barry Jenkins exploit that purpose to an artistic and near perfect degree. I loved this movie. Do yourself a favor if you are a homosexual trying to acclimate to an area in which homosexuality is frowned upon. Do yourself a favor, see this movie. It'll make you feel better, or maybe it'll make you feel worse. I don't know, but this movie explores those aspects wonderfully, and it's phenomenal. So, my rant over.
All right. We made it halfway through. You guys feeling all right out there? You want to go take a breather? I don't know. You can pause the video or something.
Yeah, you can pause the video. Whatever you want to do.
We'll still be here.
We're not in your house.
Yeah. Take a little break. Take a little breather. So what's up with you? So what's up with you?
I'm just jacking it. Just how it is.
Like right now?
I mean, take a peek.
No. Have you been doing that the entire episode?
I mean, if it lasted 18 minutes, then
I have a number 5. Number 5. Top 5.
Yeah, we're hitting the top 5 now.
Wow, holy shit. Man. These are the real good. These are the creams of the crops.
Yep, these are the real diamonds in the rough.
Yeah. This movie is one of the best disaster movies I've ever seen. You don't see a lot of those, but this is definitely one of the ones that was.
Did you just have a stroke?
I think I did.
Okay.
So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite disaster movies, Deepwater Horizion. And not only is it one of my favorite disaster movies, it's one of my favorite Mark Wahlberg movies. Mark Wahlberg.
Because Wahlberg has made so many good movies.
But Mark Wahlberg's in so many movies. He was in Departed.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
I didn't say like he made any bad. Well, he makes a lot of shit movies, but he's in some good movies.
But Mark
Departed?
Wahlberg's Mark Wahlberg.
So what if he's Mark Wahlberg? Hey, I'm Mark Wahlberg. Want to make a movie together? Huh?
Mark Wahlberg in this movie was fucking superb. In
Yeah,
this
he
one.
was primo.
Who fucking
He was Primo's Pizza in this movie.
These top 5 are from straight out of the oven. Primo's
Had
pizzas.
Primo's Pizza.
But number 1 is like Primo.
Like
himself.
it was made by Primo himself in a brick oven in Italy.
Yes.
Like that's how good it is.
Yeah. But we'll get to that. But Deepwater Horizon, yes, it is one of the best movies of the year, in my opinion. You should definitely check it out. It was based off the BP oil spill incident a couple years ago. Everyone pretty much heard about it. Affected a lot of people down south. I think that even though I wasn't affected by it, I feel like they did a good representation of that. And not only that, but it had me on the edge of my seat for pretty much the entire movie, except for the parts where they were in trouble, because why would you be on the edge of your seat for that? And also one of the greatest Mark Wahlberg reactions ever. So if you ever want to see that, see this movie, highly recommend it. See it now. Pay full top dollar for it. Yes.
Yes.
Check. Buy.
All right. So check, please. So my number 5 is a movie that I was really, really, really looking forward to, mostly because I am a huge fan of the director's past work. I am in love with the main star, and I really appreciate the talents of the co-star. And that movie is The Nice Guys. Ladies and gentlemen, let it be known right now that I am 150% straight. I am as straight as a line. But by golly, would I let Ryan Gosling do abhorrent things to me and my asshole. So let's continue. Ryan Gosling in this movie gives one of the best performances of his career, playing a sleazy detective or private investigator in the 1970s Los Angeles, and Russell Crowe becomes his partner for a case that they are both working on, and they combine, they mesh together, and by God, the chemistry between these two actors is phenomenal, and that's all due to a fantastic script by Shane Black, one of the best working writers. Why are you giving me that fucking look, bro? One of the best writers and directors working today. Shane Black has been one of my favorite directors ever since I saw Kiss Kiss Bang Bang a while ago. He wrote one of the best action movies ever made. He wrote Predator, and he did Iron Man 3 as well, which wasn't that great, but had its things, had its positives. Definitely had its negatives, but totally had its positives. And this movie just continues the tradition of him having his films set in Christmas, and just everything about this movie just floored me, really. Just the writing is just on par, on key, never misses a beat, no stupid lines throughout the entirety of the movie. The action, when it did happen, was good, not that much action, but still pretty good. The 70s setting was phenomenal, it had all those nice cars, had the old pornos and stuff like that, had the nice aesthetics and designs of it. And honestly, they don't make movies like this anymore. They really don't. They really don't make movies in which the comedic timing is accentuated by the editing, where it's like kind of slow paced, but still has still retains the very quick fire jokes and stuff like that. And yeah, they really don't make movies like this anymore. Everything nowadays is just blockbusters or really small, low budgeted indie flicks. You don't really have that in between anymore. And I really wish more people saw this movie because it tanked at the box office, which is a real shame. I hope it finds a home on a video on demand, because I really do think everybody should see this movie. And I am incredibly eager to see what Shane Black does next. I know he's directing the new Predator movie. Ryan Gosling, again, love you, buddy. And Russell Crowe, also a great actor. So just by those 3 names alone, you should really check out this movie. So yeah.
Are you not going to talk about the fact that you just said you let Ryan Gosling fuck you in the asshole?
I would let Ryan Gosling do illegal things to me. I would let Ryan Gosling do things that are banned in this country, in the UK, and any other place Ryan Gosling has set foot. I would let him do illegal things to me that are in those said countries. Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio too. I feel like Ryan Gosling would be like the passionate sweet lover, but like Leonardo DiCaprio would be like bareback, like he would just go straight in and just no regrets. I couldn't like walk for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Point is, Ryan Gosling can defile me in any way he wants to. So on to your number 4, huh? This is the most disappointed look you've ever given me. Oh my god.
Speaking of a lot of sex, number 4 goes to Deadpool, and yeah, I'm so very shocked with the things I just heard. Oh Jesus. The way DeGe's laughing right now, imagine that but throughout like the entirety of Deadpool. Yes.
Pretty much.
Deadpool did not have a moment where we were not laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It was also our first collaboration video.
Yeah, it was.
A while back with a couple friends of mine from college. Still really good friends with them. Still really big fan of this movie. Because you know what? Ryan Reynolds wanted to make this movie for the last, 8 years? 10 years. And he finally fucking did it. Came out on Valentine's Day. Marketing was spectacular. The best I've ever seen for a movie. And you know what? This movie fucking delivered. Not only did we just give it one of the best ratings in this channel's history, but it's probably cements itself as one of the best superhero movies of all fucking time. But you know what? It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's one of my favorite Fox movies because it was made by Fox, even though it's a Marvel movie. But you know what? It's under the same category because it's Marvel. But comedy, fucking had that. Action, fucking had that. Character, baby, you know it. Everyone in this movie was so funny, and just this movie is just fucking hilarious. Just see it. I can't say enough good things about this movie, honestly. Like where did this movie fucking come from? How is this a hit under the behind under the covers and like in the top shelf for so long? How? It just amazes me how long they waited to put this movie out, and what it did. Not one person told me that they hated this movie. Well, except for my brother. I mean, but he says it's not gonna be good in like a year. But you know what? Fuck him too.
Yeah, you listening, Paul? Go fuck yourself, Paul.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Number.
Well, I like them.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4. My number 4 was a movie that I also really was looking forward to seeing, but unfortunately it wasn't playing in any theaters by us until it was. Shit.
I'm sorry. I had to text a friend about playing the Dying Light shit.
The fuck are you doing?
No, Andrew's gonna hear this like a week in the future.
He's gonna be like, oh fuck, dude. Oh, is this a guest episode? But yeah, movie that I really wanted to see. But then it finally came to theaters by us, and we saw it. Goes to Manchester by the Sea. Manchester by the Sea broke me in ways that I never thought a movie could break me. Casey Affleck just delivers the best performance that I've seen this year, and one of the best performances of the decade, in my opinion, and possibly of all time, to be quite honest, because by God, he was phenomenal in this movie. He killed it. And Lucas Hedges, who plays his nephew, is also phenomenal. A great breakout performance. Cinematography in this movie, primo. You know, I've always been I mentioned this in the review. I've always been a fan of like port towns and stuff like that, and this movie just captured that essence to a T. The writing in this movie, one of the best scripts of the year, possibly of the decade. Everybody in this movie gives it their all, and God damn it shows. Everybody in this movie is a master class in acting. This movie should be shown in acting schools all across the nation and across the world because of how just beautifully subtle all the performances are. Casey Affleck, man, you know, you did it. You've proved yourself to be a great actor before, but this solidifies it. Hit the best performance of his career. Casey Affleck, I always thought was a better actor, and his brother was the better director. But you know, this just I think solidifies my statement. This movie's heartbreaking. This movie's funny. This movie will make you cry your eyes out, and it'll make you laugh, tears. I don't know, make you cry laughing too. It really is all about, you know, finding the light in the darkness in a sense. And man, this movie moved me. It's phenomenal, really. If you're really into acting, check this movie out. If you really want to see a good movie that'll ruin your day for a little bit, then make it a lot better, and then completely fucking destroy your week, then check this movie out. Definitely don't miss this one. I really hope it gets I really hope it wins, at least for acting. You know, any award for acting at least. Yeah, Manchester by the Sea, one of the best movies of the year, one of the best movies of the decade, I think. Rant. After you.
Now, I'm a big fan of animation. Don't get me wrong. But
I'm a simple man.
But I'm a simple man. You know what? I work hard. I play hard. I prefer subs. I prefer dubs to subs. Fuck subs. Hashtag fuck subs 2016.
Hashtag fuck Gabbs 2016. Subs are the way to go, bro.
Fuck off. Anyway, when it comes to animation, you know what? I'm a simple man. You know, if it's animated, I'm probably gonna like it. But stop motion in recent years, especially with Coraline and the production company behind it, just really just like set the standard for like what stop motion can be. It was a fucking primo movie. But you know, a couple of years, a year later, they had another movie that came out. I didn't see that one, but you know what? I heard it was good. And then the year after that, I had another one, and it was really good too. But I didn't see that one either because I just don't have the time to. But I did have time to see this one, Kubo and the Two Strings. Now, when I tell you this is the best animated movie of the year, I'm not fucking kidding you.
I'm not playing around.
Now, call me a weeaboo, but the whole Japanese setting, just the whole aesthetic, really just fucking perfect. This is animation right here. Fucking perfect. Honestly, can't say anything better about it. Just this movie is really, really, really fantastic. A majority of it is perfect. I didn't have any big flaws with this movie. A couple minor gripes, but I'm not even going into them because you know what? They're so minor that they don't even deserve to be said. This movie, fantastic. The child actor was actually one of the only child actors this whole year. Things I've seen where I've actually tolerated it. Not even tolerated it. I enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed it. Right? Child acting is something that has a lot of opinions. Majority of them being bad. But you know what? This is the one chance, the one opportunity where you know what? He had time to shine and he took it. And not only did he shine bright, but he was probably the best performance even for the main character of the movie. You know, Charlize Theron was also great. This is the first movie probably since Mad Max. I'm not aware. I don't know if she did anything between the two. Am I right here? Right, wrong? You don't know either? Cool.
Mad Max was 2012. Like she filmed
2012.
They filmed that movie.
Well, I mean, it came out in last year, so.
Well, I'm saying she's probably done shit between 2012 and this year.
I mean, but the movie came, whatever. Anyway, Matthew McConaughey was great. Everyone else in this movie was great. The characters were primo. I loved all the characters. I loved the designs. The designs of each character were outstanding. The bottom line is, if you haven't seen this, totally check it out. Buy this movie. Don't I tell you, some people will say, you know what, you should probably rent it before you make an official opinion about it, before you actually buy the movie. But no, this movie deserves your money. It's fucking great. I'm ashamed that it didn't make its money back in the box office because I know it didn't. But you know what? It totally deserves it. This movie's awesome. I love this movie. One of my favorite animated movies. Because thinking about it since then, it is one of my favorites. My favorite animated movies. But yeah, Kubo and the Two Strings, number 3. You're number 3. Let's go. Fucking go. Take it away. I'm dying over here.
So yeah, we finally broke the top 3. My number 3 is a movie that I expected to not enjoy whatsoever.
Sorry.
Were you doing like a amen like thing? Oh god. My movie, so my number 3 was a movie that I expected to not like whatsoever. You know, I saw a couple trailers and I was kind of intrigued by it. I thought I wasn't gonna like it very much. But you know, it intrigued me. Excuse me. I wanted to see what it had to say, and I regret every single negative thought that I had before this movie and when I watched the trailers, because this movie is probably one of my favorite movies of all time now. This movie's The Edge of 17, and you know, again, wasn't really expecting much from it. Wasn't really, you know, I was gonna dismiss it as another, you know, teen high school movie that gets like really mediocre reviews and just gets forgotten in the bowels of history and stuff like that. But no, let me tell you something about this movie. Every single aspect about this movie is phenomenal, and there are not enough synonyms for the word positive in the English dictionary that I can say about this movie. This movie struck my heart so much that it's still impaled with the knife it put in my heart. Like this movie's so real, and I related to it so much. And there were many times when we were watching this movie that I looked up at the screen and I said, "That's me." Like, I've had those exact same thoughts before. I've went through that exact same thing before. I've lived that exact same thing before. There are too many moments to count in this movie in which I related to the main character and another character in this movie. Honestly, this is the most I've ever related to a movie character, to be quite honest. Just the writing was outstanding, phenomenal. 10 out of 10 script, 11 out of 10 script, mind you. Every single performance in this movie was phenomenal. Haley Steinfeld once again proves that she is a great young actress, like how she did in True Grit, but in this movie she again proves it. Keira Cedric was great. Blake Jenner was great, which I wasn't expecting because I've only seen Blake Jenner in like 2 things and he hasn't really proven himself yet, but in this movie he's definitely a guy to watch. Woody Harrelson is also phenomenal in this movie. Just every single thing about this movie, I didn't have any problem with it. I honestly, the movie had like maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hour runtime. I could have, if it had like an 8 hour runtime, I would have never gotten bored, because I could have watched that movie all day, all night, and that would be it. Honestly, I love this movie to death. I would totally buy it if I had a Blu-ray player. I don't have a Blu-ray player, so I'm not gonna buy it on Blu-ray. But I loved every single second about this movie. I wouldn't change a damn thing about it. Yeah, this movie's phenomenal. If you're a teenager growing up and you have no idea what the fuck you're doing in your life, watch this movie. If you're a teenager that really likes somebody but they don't know you exist, watch this movie. If you are a teenager who's had way too many awkward experiences to count, watch this movie. If you're a teenager, watch this movie. If you're an adult, you'll remember the awkward shit you did when you were a teenager if you watch this movie. This movie's for everybody, and it was phenomenal. So, Edge of 17, biggest surprise of the year, phenomenal. Your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2. Wait, what was the movie we were just talking about again?
Edge of 17?
Oh yeah, that's my number 2. Yeah, that one.
Such an asshole.
So, yeah. Edge 17. Now, I'm pretty much going to be spitting out the same shit that he said, but the fact that it was my number 2, the reason why it's my number 2 is because I've never been more surprised by a movie, probably ever. Had a lot of actors that I knew, actresses that I knew, actresses that I knew. I knew that they were good, if not great. I knew that some of them were a lot better than others. Some of them had smaller roles, some of them had a lot bigger roles. But you know what? I was willing to give this movie a shot, and you know what? Thank fucking God I did, because you know what? Surprised isn't enough to say about this movie, about how I felt after walking out of this movie. Like you said, this movie, like, you had a lot to compare yourself with this movie. But to say this movie isn't real would be a flat out lie, because just it's like almost like a nonfiction work. You know, like you kind of said before, you can watch this movie for 8 hours. Leaving that movie, I thought like I was watching like a reality show, to be honest. Like, this is like someone's life that we're just watching, and for that to, you know, be my reaction to this movie only makes it that much better, to be honest, because I feel like that's what they wanted to show, and they very much achieved that. Haley Steinfeld, honestly, like, where the fuck was this? I didn't see this coming out of there.
Where the fuck did that come from, Haley? Jesus Christ!
Like, holy shit! Like, that was fucking primo acting there. Like, I don't know what's coming out of my mouth right now, but it's good. It's all good things. Like, I can't, like, holy shit! This movie was fucking awesome. Like, this is just like I want to see her in more stuff because of this now. Not only her, but really the whole cast. You know, her friend, her older brother, the mom, Woody Harrelson, but I already know that he's gonna be in like 10 more things next year anyway, because he's Woody Harrelson.
He just does shit.
He whatever. If you just gave him if you just like, hey, you want to be in a movie? He's like, yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it. And yeah, and just like, you know, I had teachers that, like, you know, were willing to lend a hand, but not to this extent. And the fact that, you know, his character, like the characters, like, holy shit, like, just like, I'm gonna leave this now, but like, the one thing I can say about this movie is, holy shit, and that's it.
Yeah, that was the exact same reaction I had. I was just like, holy shit. Well, my number 2 is a movie that I never thought was gonna get made. It's Deadpool. Deadpool is my favorite superhero, or whatever you want to call him. Anti-hero. Marvel character. We'll just refer to him as as Marvel character, whatever. Deadpool is my favorite Marvel character. He has been ever since I was like 10 or 11 years old. I've only read every single comic of 2 characters. My 2 favorite superheroes, Deadpool and Daredevil. And I've read every single issue that Deadpool has ever had. I love him. Like, he's my favorite Marvel character and one of my favorite fictional characters ever. I have a pop vinyl of him right over there. I love the guy. I love him. Like, he's great. He's a phenomenal Marvel character. And with this movie, I was so fucking apprehensive about this movie. The marketing was great. I will give it that. I was cautiously optimistic because I got the R rating, so I was already very happy about that. It had some great marketing that had Ryan Reynolds. You know, Ryan Reynolds was the perfect choice for this for Deadpool, so I was already really into that. And I sat down in the theater. I closed my eyes and I crossed my fingers, and I sat there just waiting for. I didn't even watch the previews. I was just so nervous. I was like, please don't let this suck, because this has been 10 years in the making. They gave whoever worked on Deadpool like the creative freedom to make him who he is, and like actually have him be comic accurate or whatever. And I left the theater with a smile that was so big that it was coming off my face. It was like like my lips were extending off of my face. I loved every single second of this movie. Not only because it portrayed, not only because it's fucking hilarious, not only because it has very relevant humor that may be a little bit outdated on future viewings, but not only does it have absolutely phenomenal humor, an amazing cast of people who are actually trying, some of the best comedic writing of the decade, and one of the best superhero movies ever, honestly. Not only does it have all those things, but the fact that they were able to have complete creative control, that Fox was able to give them complete creative control over how this movie played out, a director who knew what he was doing, a star who was trying to get this movie made for 10 years, and he knew what he was doing. It's just the fact that those all came together to form this is truly a testament to what can be done with hard work, determination, and not giving up on something that you're passionate about. I know that got a little cliche or whatever, but seriously, like, this movie is the culmination of all of that. Because like it baffles me that like I finally saw a Deadpool movie, and it was perfect. Like it's not a perfect movie by any means, but in regards to the character himself and the comics and stuff like that, it's fucking perfect. Like it's perfect. Like there's literally nothing wrong about it when it comes to the character. It's fucking perfect. But you know, and that's it. Like listen to me, I'm like the fucking biggest nerd about it, but like I don't care, dude. Like it's so fucking good. The way they portrayed him on the screen, like it's mind-boggling actually, the fact that he was so accurately portrayed on screen and stuff like that. I'm gonna stop jerking the movie off now. I loved it. You know, it's my number 2. So now, without further ado, the number 1 movie of the year for my pal Anthony. Lay it on me.
All right. So
even though I already know what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's right there.
It's right fucking there.
All right. So number 1 movie of the year goes to my boy Benedict Cumberbatch in Doctor Strange. Now, magic is something I've been around since I was a kid. My cousin is a magician. He's a very good magician. He's very successful at that. And you know what? He just like whenever I was a kid, I was always surprised. I was like, I never was disappointed when seeing this stuff. You know, going to shows when I was a kid, going to shows in New York, and seeing him do whatever, you know, always amazed me. And when it comes to magic in movies, whether it be like with like, you know, with spells and whatnot, you know, I always liked that kind of stuff. But when it came to this movie and Doctor Strange, I didn't know what I was about to expect. Because I never read anything about Doctor Strange. I don't even read anything about the superheroes in general. The only superhero I read, the only like comic book character that I've ever read about was Deathstroke. And I know I'm never gonna get a movie about him. I'm not gonna get a movie about him. I'm not gonna get a movie with him as the main actor. But I know that he's gonna be in the Batman ones. But that's another story for another day. But like I said, didn't know anything about the guy. I only knew him from I only knew Doctor Strange from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I never played as him because he was always hard to play. And I had no clue what the hell was going on with his moves. But you know what? I sat down and watched this movie, Marvel movie. I knew I was gonna have a good time because Marvel has never ceased to amaze me except for Thor: The Dark World.
That movie was such fucking trash. But anyway.
But you know what? By golly gee. If I didn't say that this movie was my favorite movie of the year, I'd be I'd just be the biggest fucking liar on the God's green earth here. I mean, just Jesus Christ, like this movie it's such a trendsetter for movies now, I think, because it was so different from what we see now with like the origin stories and everything. Like, you got your superhero. You got the girl that he's gonna get in the end of the movie. By the end of the movie, you know, you got the evil dude. You got the sidekick. You know, you got the wise one. But when it came to this movie, it was different, and different was great. Why was it different? I'll tell you why. Because he already had everything he ever wanted. He was a successful doctor. He had the money, he had the women, he had everything he ever asked for. But when it all goes away because of one car crash, and then he wants to get that all back, I was rooting for him from there, and we got the powers and everything, and that's just the whole Inception kind of stuff. I didn't think I was gonna see with that in a superhero movie, like, and that only made it like that much better. Like, I was amazed by the visual effects. This should be nominated for just visual effects. Like, if this got nominated for visual effects and won, I'd be over the moon about it because I think it deserves it. Benedict Cumberbatch was awesome. Rachel McAdams was awesome. There's really not one bad thing I can say about this movie other than like a couple minor nitpicks. Of course, I've said that about whatever movies are on this list, and of course, in the reviews, I probably have gripes about them. But you know what? I'm not focusing on them. And you know what? I probably have all these scores out of order. But you know, these are my favorite ones. They're mine, my opinions. So you know what? Hey, what could I say? I'm a bit stupid sometimes, but you know what wasn't stupid? This fucking movie. This movie was my favorite movie. It's of the year, and my favorite Marvel movie of all time. I know I say this a lot. but I literally like this is. I can't say anything bad about it. I can't. Villain was great. I love the villain. The more I think about him, the more Mads Mikkelsen. It was Mads Mikkelsen, correct? Yeah. There's he's also in the Hideo Kojima video.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, that.
He's also in Star Wars. Rogue One.
For like 10 minutes.
Eh.
You know what movie he wasn't in for 10 minutes? Doctor Strange. This movie is fucking... In terms of Marvel movies, this Marvel movie is perfect. That's it. This Marvel movie is perfect.
Would you say it's a perfect origin story?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Cool.
I understood. I understand the whole he has motivations, and the motivations I can also are very relatable. I bet to most people, not me, because I'm not a doctor. But if I was, and if I lost my hands, I'd probably relate to him. And but just what? I'm neither of those things. But I'm just gonna stop talking because I have no clue what's coming out of my fucking mouth. I'm a travesty, but you know what's not a travesty? This movie.
I'm a travesty. Gabinelli 2016. Anyway.
This movie's the exact opposite of a travesty.
Absolutely. I like this movie.
I like this movie.
I liked it. Okay, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Last video of season 2 of 2016. My number 1. Let me tell you a little story. Okay. Ever since I was a little boy, I was fascinated by science fiction. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I didn't really get all that into Star Trek, but I've always liked Halo or what else? 2001: A Space Odyssey. Some of my favorite movies of all time are sci-fi, like Alien, just to name a few. And ever since I was a little boy, I was always infatuated with that stuff. I really liked spaceships. I really liked all that stuff. I wanted to be an astronaut for a while, actually. I remember, but now obviously I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. So I've always been fascinated with what lies beyond our Earth, and even like sci-fi that happens on Earth, with like futuristic stuff like Interstellar and stuff like that. But no movie. Besides Edge of 17, really struck such an emotional chord with me. Besides Manchester by the Sea and Edge of 17, but I think this one just a little bit more. No movie struck such a chord with me, rather than those two movies, than Arrival. If you watched my one-off of it, I literally said nothing bad about the movie, but I did give it a 9.5. Yeah, I'm gonna change that to a 10 because I just thinking about this movie, they don't make movies like I know I said that for The Nice Guys, but they really don't make movies like this anymore. This is an extremely cerebral. It's extremely cerebral. It makes you think. It's not action packed. There's literally almost no action whatsoever. It's mostly people talking when they visit alien, and then they occasionally visit the aliens that arrive on Earth, and it had me on the edge of my seat from beginning to end. And this movie has one of the best twists of all time, I think, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but in my personal opinion, this has one of the best movie twists of all time. Amy Adams is stellar, as she always is. Jeremy Renner gives a great performance as well. Forrest Whitaker's good. Michael Stuhlbarg's good. The alien design, top tier. The writing, phenomenal. But all those are fine and dandy. Those are all great. The setting's great. The cinematography's phenomenal. Editing is great. Music, my God, the music. Music, one of my favorite soundtracks of the year, possibly of all time. But that's all fine and dandy, But the one thing that solidified this movie for me to be my number 1 of the year was not the score, not the acting, not the cinematography, but the direction of Denis Villeneuve, who is now, after watching this movie, is now my favorite working director nowadays. Because this man has had such a lasting influence on me. Nicholas Winding Refn inspired me to make movies and stuff like that, and get into filmmaking and whatever. But Denis Villeneuve really solidified it after watching Sicario, Incendies. What else did he do? This movie and Enemy as well. Just after watching all those movies, like and Prisoners, just appreciating all of those movies and just watching what he did, having top tier people work in his movies like Roger Deakins and Jake Gyllenhaal and stuff like that. Just I really hope, like, the way this movie is directed is just out of this world. Like, pun intended, honestly, but like it's just phenomenal. And if this movie doesn't have him like get much bigger work, like I know he's already doing the Blade Runner movie, which that movie cannot fail. That with the amount of talent involved in that movie cannot fail. But that's a different video for a different day. But if this movie doesn't put him on at least the track of making him a household name like Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino, then I honestly don't know what else he can do. Because this I don't even have a positive term I can say about this movie because I loved it so much. So yeah, that's my movie of the year, Arrival. Check it out. It got nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes. Hopefully it gets a bunch of Oscars because... and another thing that's bullshit is that they didn't nominate the soundtrack for the Oscars. I don't know why, but it's fucking cat shit because this soundtrack is I would honestly buy the vinyl for it if it was available. I would do it. But yeah, this went out for way too long. But this movie is incredible. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's compelling. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's everything that I wanted it to be.
It's tremendous.
It's tremendous. And it's surprisingly human, which is another thing that I really liked about it because the characters. It's about this one woman, and it's surprisingly human with the way it explores her character and how her character develops. I don't want to spoil anything because you need to see this movie. You need to see this movie if you haven't. And I recommend seeing it in like a nice surround sound system or whatever. But I'm done here. I'm done. Sorry, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Arrival, #1 movie of the year, and yeah. So
that's it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to give, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you all so much for making season 2 such an amazing experience for the both of us. We had a blast watching movies, reviewing movies, yelling about movies. We had a blast doing it. Season 3 will be right around the corner. Hopefully, I really, we're gonna try to really start the season off right. Now I have a new microphone. I have some new editing software. I'm currently working on some intros for the new season and stuff like that. It's gonna be different, and but we're still gonna have that same amount of fun that we usually have while doing this stuff because we both love it. We both love doing it. And we really hope we have the opportunity to do it for years to come. So, any final thoughts, Ant?
Fuck Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, we were talking about doing a worst of list, but we don't think that's gonna happen. So we should probably just say the worst of
because inaudible.
Yeah. Batman v
say,
Superman is the worst movie I've seen all year. Nothing compares to it.
Least favorite movie of all time for me.
Least favorite movie of all time for Gabbs. I did see the extended cut, which was a lot better, I think, than the original cut of Batman v Superman, or theatrical cut, might I say. Fucking terrible. Never want to see it again. You know how like churches burn books?
Yeah.
I think we should burn DVDs of that movie because it's fucking terrible. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. We have 33 subscribers now. Let's get 33 more by the end of next year.
If we do, that'd be pretty.
Honestly,
cool.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, it's whatever. So, any last thoughts?
Other than fuck Batman or Superman, DC should just stop.
I should. So, yeah.
No, DC should just stop.
Oh, DC. Oh, they said DeGe. Oh,
no.
Okay.
No. I mean, kind of, but no.
Fuck you. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Here's the 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Here we go.